Good evening and welcome to the Monday, June 23rd City Council meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. It's been a busy few months, of course, with the absence of our city administrator and then with our absence of our city police chief. But we've had some interim step in, as of course, Manuel Temez and I have been acting as the interim city administrators. And we have interim police chief Ritter, who is here tonight with us as well. So things have been getting filled in and we've been taking care of business as usual and moving things along. But it is nice to know and wanted to let the public know that we did get the city administrator position published. You'll find that on our Facebook page as well as our website and other locations. And we also have a deputy of public works that's out there published as well. And we're waiting a little bit longer to give interim Chief Ritter an opportunity to, before we decide to look for any other chiefs. I think we may have already found ours, but we'll let time tell. So with that said, good things are happening in the community. We are moving forward. 4th of July is coming up, a very patriotic time. A lot of things and unrest and uncertainty going on in the world today, but you know, little by little, we're getting good news like earlier today. So hopefully that sticks and ceasefires can happen and we can continue to move on with the progress. With that said, we do have Manuel Temez who will lead us in prayer tonight.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for this land that you've given us, this city called Lamar. We ask that you would bless it continually. Lord, that you would put the people here who need to be in this land, Lord, to help to run this city, to help provide the goodness that you want for this city. We always lift it up and lift up the people of our community. We ask that you give us wisdom and discernment as we make decisions for this city through the council. We pray blessing on our time tonight. All these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Councilman Temez, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:01 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Here.
Shayla Mata. Here. Jerry Jenkins. Here. Kirk Crespin.
Here.
David Zavala.
Here.
Manuel Temez.
Here.
Brent Bates.
Here.
Kristen Swartz. Here. Lance Clark.
Here.
Okay, we've all had a chance to review the agenda. I do have one addition that I would like to make for item number 11. We need to bump item 11, which was the miscellaneous, and move that down one. And I was looking at adding in a request for proposals or contract approval for the public safety building design and engineer. That would be on number 11. And then we'll move number 12 to be the miscellaneous and number 13 to be the executive session, if that is okay with the council.
That's good with me.
Is that a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for that change. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay. Looking at the consent agenda, I did not see any changes or items that needed to be voted on separately. Did anyone else?
I didn't see any.
Okay. Any corrections or additions to the minutes?
If there are none, I make a proposal to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
All right. Moving right along to the public comment portion of the meeting. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and that is at the discretion of the council. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak to the council that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll leave that reminder as always that this is a portion of the meeting where you can come and talk to the council about any topic that's not on the agenda. or a topic that is on the agenda. You can come and present that to the council and have 3 minutes to do so. And we can give you an opportunity to do the research and get back with you afterwards. So since there is nothing, we will move on to the next item, which is the city treasurer's report. Kristen?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have a couple on my grants update of awards that I would like to mention. Through our wastewater treatment plant, we've been doing an SRF pre-qualification process. And through that analysis, they awarded us a $10,000 planning grant. We qualified for it. So we'll be using that along with our other grants to do the planning and engineering of the wastewater treatment plant. So, and then we also, council gave us permission to apply for an El Primar grant back in, I believe it was November of 24. We were awarded that grant. It is for $5,000 and it is for bulletproof vests. So the police will be able to purchase a few more vests with that grant. So that was all both good news. That was all I had for this evening unless someone has questions for me.
Were there any questions for the city treasurer?
I don't have any.
I don't have any.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Next item on the agenda is the city clerk's report.
So I have kind of a lengthy report. Our January through May average sales tax returns posted was 2,669. We've had 73 new licenses, 28 of those being local businesses, and we've had 34 terminated licenses, with 12 of those being local businesses. Our electric connects January through May totaled 309, with 280 being residential and 29 being commercial. Our water connects for the same period was 193, with 183 of those being residential and 10 commercial. Our electric disconnects totaled 284, with 269 of those being residential and 15 commercial. Our water disconnects totaled 174, with 168 being residential and 6 commercial. Our cemetery lot sales January through May totaled 16, with 13 at Fairmount, 3 at Riverside. And our opening and closings, we had 21 at Fairmount, 4 in the Veterans section, and 5 at Riverside. In upcoming news, we have our 2025 coordinated election. That is November 4th of this year. Positions that will be on the ballot will be, of course, the mayor for a 2-year term. Ward 1, Councilmember Temez's term is up. It's a 4-year term. In Ward 2, Councilmember Zavala is a 4-year term. And in Ward 3, Councilmember Mata is also a 4-year term. Our call for petitions will begin in July and it will run for 3 weeks. If anyone is interested in running, they can pick up petition packets from my office no earlier than August 6th, and they will be due back by August 29th. That's all I have for this evening.
Okay. All right, moving on to the city administrator's report. A couple of events that are coming up. Prowers County Youth Council, there's a free movie in the park that starts at 8:30 p.m. or at the dark. At Willow Creek Park by the pool, they are going to be watching Moana 2, and that's June 27th, so that's this Friday. It didn't have a date on here. Seco Pride Fest will be Saturday, June 28th from 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. at the Enchanted Forest this weekend. There is the Common Grounds, Wednesday, July the 2nd at 7 a.m. in the Cultural Event Center, featuring the Building Codes Department. The City of Lamar Fireworks Show will be displayed at on July the 4th at 9 p.m. on Friday, July the 4th. Community Social will be on Friday, July the 11th. There will be a free swim at 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. There's a meet, greet, and eat at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then the movie is Inside Out 2, and that'll be at 9 p.m. The Friday with the Force is being rescheduled. There's not been a new date yet, but that will be coming out soon, so you can follow them on Facebook or just watch out on the websites. Department updates. Let's talk about some of these department updates.
The fire department, the fireworks have been delivered, so my assumption is that unless there's heavy and severe weather, Everything is as planned. They've had regular calls for service. In the IT department, they're waiting on their next data pull through the ADG for their Tyler Technologies. Working on the PD storage issues that they've been having, and they've been working on the Aclara project. Through Public Works, concrete work has been completed at North Gateway Ponds for the new floating dock. Anybody who's been down there has probably seen it. Looks really good. The crews are currently working around town on patching streets and alleyways. Please be patient with those.
Okay, in Parks and Recreation, they are starting the work on Escondido Field. That's continuing. I believe now they're doing the leveling of the dirt that came in, as well as getting it prepped and ready for the new sod. They are working on the new floating fishing dock at North Gateway Ponds. As Manuel said, they completed the sidewalks and walkways. Now we're waiting for the actual docks to come in so we can get that going. Colorado Parks and Wildlife is working with the Parks and Rec for the archery range. So that's going to be a big project and a big benefit to the community in the area as well. For the library, the fire department will be having a presentation at 2 p.m. on Friday, June 27th, for the summer reading program. Tomorrow, June 24th, Beth Epley will be the author visiting for the story hour in the Cultural Events Center. There are currently over 400 people signed up for the summer reading program. 400. That is the most that has ever been signed up before in the history of the summer reading program. So that's great news to see that kind of involvement. The police department has begin cycling out some of the vehicles with new updated graphics. The new units, which include the K9 unit, will hit the road on June 24th. The police department has had several productive meetings with the state and federal agencies and is looking forward to new partnerships with these agencies to address community concerns. Police department is considering a public survey for additional community input moving forward. There were some items on here did you have this list by any chance? Of employee service awards. Do you want to pass that down for Manuel? I pass that on to you, Manuel. Do the honors.
We honor the dedication and commitment of our employees who've reached a significant milestone in their service to the city of Lamar. Thank you for your loyal professionalism and impact on our community. The employee service milestones include 10 years of service, Brenda Apple, 9/11 dispatcher, hired 5/18 of 2015. For 15 years of service, Jerry King, maintenance worker, senior, street department, hired 5/3/2010. And then finally, our 40 years of service, Patrick Mason, director of public works, hired 5/31/1985. We appreciate each of you for your continued service and the contributions you make every day. Your dedication supports the success and growth of the city of Lamar. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody that has participated in that. 40 years for Pat Mason. He must have been like 10 years old when he started. Well, thank you all. All right, and thank you, Manuel, for reading those out. We really appreciate our staff and what they do for the city of Lamar. City offices will be closed on Friday, July the 4th for Independence Day, and once again at 9 p.m. is when the fireworks display will start, so please try to attend. Next item on the agenda will be unless there's any questions from the council, is for the administrators. Do you have any questions?
I do real quick.
You do? Okay.
You know how we do the traffic on Main for that? Is there any reports on how they're doing on ticket wise and stuff like that?
We had some general information from last month, but that was from Chief Fear. I haven't gotten anything updated for quite some time.
If we could for the next meeting, that'd be nice.
Yeah, we had talked about doing that. It's always kind of touchy because we don't want to make it seem like we're keeping a quota or
Right.
keeping track of it. It's nice to know that they're making improvements. But when I was talking to Chief Fear, we wanted to keep it like maybe once every 6 months or every quarter or
Okay.
something. So we'll work with Chief Ritter and see what we can figure out on that. But we don't have a quota in the system, so that's why we don't want to make it
Right.
something that we track normally because we don't really look for that. So, but we'll make a note to do that.
Thank
I
you.
just did. Okay, moving on. Reports and correspondence from the council. Do we have any reports? Joe?
Certainly. Planning and zoning had a lengthy meeting with Michael Yerman from Ayers Associates, and he is updating some of the codes and zoning for Lamar, and it was very informational. I'm looking forward to all the information that he's going to present to council on some changes. I believe they're going to be good changes for our future. I'm excited to see those flourish. And that's, of course, a contingent upon council's approval of those changes when he presents those to council at a later date and time. I believe we're going to have another meeting with planning and zoning with Michael Yerman from Ayers on those changes and go through those. Planning and zoning came with a lot of information and feedback on what they thought was appropriate and what they would like to see in those codes and those zones. It was very nice to see, and that's what I have for planning and zoning. Now, on the golf board side, the golf board did meet on a regular session, and it was mentioned during the meeting that Brad Stone got to voted in as a member of the board now to replace Ron Willard, who resigned. The club manager reported that Patterson had some concerns over charges for the LCC golf team, specifically for the range use. So the board members had some discussions and decided to waive the range fees for LCC. And Terry also mentioned that the green fees are up and they're doing well, and cart rentals are all doing well and they're all rented out. And he had also mentioned to the board that he had one of his hired hands, Manuel Chavera, retire, and he is looking for someone to replace him. They came up with a tournament committee to meet soon to go over their July 4th tournament out there coming up soon. This coming Saturday, they'll be having another tournament out there called the Wiley Panther Open. I believe that one's fully sold out. The superintendent reported that, boy, them guys are always doing insecticides, fungicide. They're always spraying out there, and you can tell that course looks great. But every time I go to a meeting, Sean is always doing something to that effect. He mentioned that they had put $1,500 into one of their mowers, but it still needs to be replaced. The board did come to a vote on replacing their bush hog through Redland equipment. And they had mentioned that City of Lamar Intellectual requested that he would try and visit with Spreading Antlers Golf Course and see if they can come up with a plan to see if they can purchase chemicals together and combine it at a lower cost. Now, I don't know if that's a possibility or not. I think they would have to visit with the Treasury or something like that to see how things can work out. But that was mentioned during the board meeting as well. I don't know if anything has been obtained through that yet, but the ideal was to see if they can purchase chemicals together to try and get better pricing for everybody. Because I know the golf course this year alone spent over $30-some thousand alone just in chemicals. So they're looking for a way to try and get it cheaper as well. All their cart sheds are rented, so they've got a line out for that. And their ads are up and running for KVAY on tee-off for Tuesday. And they filed for the Huddleston Butler grant, and they're trying to figure out what they can do with that, see if they can use the funds and apply those funds to their bush hog. For the golf board, that's about it. Now, on the pet board, I do apologize because it is my fault. I did not make the meeting. I did not set my phone right to alert me of the meeting, so I did miss the meeting. It won't happen again. I'll be more alert to it. And so next meeting, I should be able to have something for you with all three boards.
Okay.
But as of right now, that's all that I have.
Okay. On the purchasing, I know it's very difficult when we are state funded or locally funded as well as a tax entity. we cannot use our pricing promotions or our pricing contracts for an outside entity like that. So I don't think that would work.
You don't think
I'll
that-
talk to Anthony about
Okay.
that, but
And
I
they're
know
not
we've-
taxed.
Yeah,
because one entity is taxable, one entity's not, and even if it's a nonprofit, they have to keep track of them in a different way. So it's my understanding that we've never done that. Does that sound right?
That's correct.
I know, well, they were mentioning trying to find cheaper ways of doing their chemicals. And so Anthony had brought that up and so forth, and we were all haggling about it and visiting about it with discussions
Yeah,
and seeing how we can move forward if it's a possibility.
yeah. It's just difficult with those pricing structures that we do, so. All
The
right,
city knows them because we budget a lot for them chemicals as well,
yeah,
and they're just not cheap,
yeah, we've combined departments, but that's within our same city
which is
entity,
understandable.
so. All right, sounds good. Shayla, do you have any reports?
I do not have a report this evening.
I did, but I left my notes at home. I apologize. I'll get it the next time, I promise.
Okay, David?
Don't have anything at the moment. Joe explained everything on the planning and zoning, which I think I'm gonna put it out there. I think Michael Yerman is gonna do great on these ordinances, on getting everything together and on how to get everything explained just in one few pages that that he's gonna break it down to from a big old book, I guess, and it's gonna be great.
Okay. Manuel?
Yep, the water board did meet and they passed their drinking water quality report, which is good news. Also, their sanitation survey, they passed that with 0 violations. And so those are 2 very positive reports that I wanted to bring. That's all I
Okay.
have.
Britt?
I know adjustments and appeals met, but I was not able to make that meeting. And then unfortunately, I will be out of town this Wednesday. And then next month's meeting, we have Corporate Cup that I'll be helping run that Wednesday night. I can give an update for PEP if you'd like.
Sure, most certainly, please.
BMS will have their grand reopening on July 19th. Ribbon cutting will be at 10 a.m. The Workforce Center here in town is back at it. Christy Woolert is working over there. So contact them for your workforce needs. And PEP is currently utilizing the Prowers County and City of Lamar comprehensive plans to adjust course on our work moving forward.
Okay. All right, any questions before we move on?
I have one. Brett, you mentioned the workforce center.
Hmm.
It was my understanding that place was shut down. Is it open back up again?
It is open back up and Christy Woolard is the contact. I'm pretty sure it's the 336-2256 number is what I pulled from the state.
Well, that's wonderful. Are they gonna be back over there in the
I
senior
believe,
citizen building?
I believe they are, aren't they, Brenda? Yeah, they're back in the senior center.
Okay, one
Community Resource Center.
Or community
Community
resource
Resource
center?
Center,
Oh, okay. Well, that way if the public needs to know where to go,
seniors and all ages.
that's where they can attend. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. I did not have anything for my report, so the next item is a public hearing for special event permit for the Sand and Sage Roundup to host a beer garden during the Sand and Sage Roundup Fair. We would need a motion to move into the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, we are now entering into the public hearing. I'll start off with the staff presentation. City Clerk, did we get everything? Would you like to give a quick report?
So everything was posted in the paper and on site, no later than June 13th. They have complied with everything requested of them. They have turned in tip certification. I believe there's 8 members, is that correct, Cindy?
Yes, there's
members.
8. I have a 9-foot.
And I have copies of all of those.
Okay. And then Lance, did you do the review on this?
I don't have any issues with it. There wasn't much that I had brought to my attention or any concerns, so.
Okay. Chief, did you do any investigation on that or?
Yes, we have no issue with.
Okay, no issues in the past that you know of? Okay. All right, with that said, we'll move on to the applicant's presentation. would you like to come up and tell us about what you're doing?
Thank you, guys. Does this work?
Yes.
Sort of.
My name is Mark Kerrigan. I'm with the Prowers County Sand and Sage Fair Board. And we are basically, I think you guys all probably have a drawing of it. We're proposing to enlarge our beer garden. And when I say enlarge the beer garden, if most of you are familiar with our layout out at the fairgrounds, we're to the south of the grandstands, and we've just had a lot of requests over the years to make it available so the people in the beer garden, when the concert's going on, and only when the concert's going on, had the ability to go out into the arena and watch the concert. I think if you guys kind of look at our drawing, it's a little bit crude. We'll get a better one down the road here, but you can see where our beer garden is. And basically, we're proposing that when the concert time arrives, everybody that's in the beer garden can get into the arena from the south end, and anybody that's in the grandstands can get into the arena from the north end. And then that would be divided. Basically on your plans, it'll show the grandstand. We're going to bring it out into the middle of the arena. We've been advised that maybe bringing that stage out a little bit closer to the people might be better received by everyone, just a little bit closer so everybody can see everything. But, and then there would be a fence, a dividing. You can see how the divide we've got drawn in, and it was recommended that, and how we divide basically from our beer garden, our beer drinkers from, the grandstands, kids, or anything else. And it was suggested that we do the two fence setup there. We divide that up and give ourselves a 10-foot buffer that, basically have security or the posse, a couple of them patrolling that, and that should eliminate any riprap, anybody trying to pass alcohol across the fence, or so we're basically trying to address anything that might give a problem or present a problem. We couldn't remember. We've done our beer garden for somewhere between 8 and 10 years out there, and I think we've handled it very professionally. We're proud of the way we've handled it and never really had any problems. And we just felt like really what brought this about was people have presented it before. At last year's concert, we had Pat Green, and he was an entertainer that was there. And I didn't realize till halfway through the concert, but he was basically, he's not familiar with our world. And he was basically trying to ask, everybody over in the beer garden, come on out here, come on out in the arena, come closer. And he didn't realize, they weren't, they're not allowed to. But so that became kind of evident that if we could devise a way and do it like we've always done it with the beer garden, that it was properly done, that we'd like to pursue that. So basically fire away with questions if you've got questions.
I like what I see here, Mark. Thank you for the explanation. And I like that buffer zone between the no alcohol and the alcohol there, with the two fences there. I mean, and I know it's never been a problem in the past. And for one, I don't see a problem now, especially with the way you guys got it all drawn out, and with the sheriff posse there patrolling it and so forth like that. I appreciate what you guys done there for the safety of the non-alcohol drinkers to the alcohol drinkers there. I like what I see here. Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll be Friday. I'm Cindy Bennett, sorry. That'll be Friday night only. Saturday, we go back to the other map where they have to stay in the beer garden.
Okay, where there will be nothing there.
It's just concert night only.
Yes, it's
Okay,
Friday
just-
night.
Thank
So
you.
the concert is Friday night, not
Yes.
Saturday?
It's Friday.
Okay.
following the rodeo.
Question, the entrance point on that south side, will there be security just patrolling, making sure that anyone going into that area in the arena will not be able to sneak by and get back on the walkway in front of the grandstands?
There'll be security there. Really, we're able to set it up so they can only go one way there
Perfect.
when we do that. So yep, there'll be security there.
How many sheriff posse are you guys looking to employ?
Well,
Many they bring Bank County in also sometimes.
Okay, so there's
So-
pretty sufficient security.
Mark talks to Sam every year and he always has it covered well, so.
Okay,
Well, I know that I've been on the posse in the past for several years, and it's always a thing for the posse members that we volunteer our time, and we take shifts and we take it pretty seriously.
How many have you had in the past?
I'm sorry?
Do you know how many they've had in the past?
Well, in the past, there have been at least up to 10 of us out there, in the past, and I know for one, I have been security out there on numerous occasions out there for the beer garden. And in my opinion, that was well secure the way the board members have done that with fencing and so forth like that. We're not talking 4-foot fence, we're talking fencing that's at least 10 foot high. They've done extremely well. But I know when I was on there, there was at least 10 of us out there.
Security starts Tuesday, actually. We'll have 2 officers there starting at 7 a.m. in the morning because we have livestock coming in and they're there until Sunday morning at 7. So there'll be 2 on grounds all the time. And then, on the nights that we need extra posse, they do come in.
Okay.
But there's always someone on the ground starting on Tuesday. Fifth, I think.
Okay, any other questions?
I don't have any.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, I'll open the floor now to anyone that would like to speak against this application. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak against this application? Seeing none, we'll move on to anyone that would like to speak in favor of the application, aside from the applicants. Seeing no one that wants to speak for or against the application, I asked if there are any questions or clarifications that the council needs before we close the hearing. Seeing none, do we have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
second.
So we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right, I will open it up for discussion, or if we have a motion on what to do with this
Well,
application.
if council doesn't have any concerns, I'd like to make a motion to grant the special event permit for Sand and St. Roundup to be approved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any final discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Agenda item number 2 is an appointment to the Lamar Housing Authority Board. This is initiated by, who was this that initiated that? Anne Marie, but she's not here. So for the Lamar Housing Authority Board, they did have an individual who was at the end of their term. That was Carol Tecklenburg's term that expired on June 1st, 2025. The Housing Board is recommending the reappointment of Carol Tecklenburg to fill the 5-year term that'll expire on June 1st, 2030. It says Carol Tecklenburg, and it's actually, most people know her as Sue Tecklenburg. She has been involved with this board for quite some time now, and is highly recommended by the board itself. Do you have any questions from the council?
I don't have any.
I motion to accept Sue Tecklenburg on the board. Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept Carol Sue Tecklenburg to the board. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Moving right along, ratification of phone poll to submit project changes to DOLA for the Main Street mini grant. This was initiated by Linda Williams for the ratification.
So I did the phone poll. This was actually initiated to begin with by Brenda May and Anne Marie Crampton. And it was just to submit the changes for our DOLA mini grant, which closes on June 30th.
Okay,
And the phone poll is attached. Everybody approved it.
all right. Any questions for Linda?
I believe the dates need to be changed to not April 11th and 12th on the memorandum. In the supplementary document that shows the timestamps as 4/11, 4/11, 4/12, 4/12.
Well, I don't know where I came up with April at.
The year's flying by, don't feel sorry.
But it was June 11th,
It
not
was.
April 11th.
Sorry.
So is that a motion with that correction?
That is correct.
Thank you.
So we,
there.
so we have a motion with the correction of the dates for June 11th, and we have a second. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right, the next item on the agenda is Southeast Colorado Cancer Initiative Fight Night Requests. This is initiated by Councilman Bates, but we do have an individual here that'll speak on behalf of SECCI.
Y'all have
Please
changed
just state your
lots.
name.
Oh, sorry. I'm Kathy McCorkle. I'm the Secretary Treasurer for SECCI. Y'all have changed a lot since I was here
Yeah,
7 years ago or whatever. Anyway. So Southeast Colorado Cancer Initiative, last year we started out, we initiated a new board and kind of started revamping, and we came up with a fight night, which basically is a community gathering to support the people that we serve, just in support of our current patients, the past patients, potential upcoming patients. SECCI provides basically funding for fuel for folks who have to travel for cancer treatment. We have a fairly simple application process for folks. We just need verification from a physician that they actually do have a cancer diagnosis. And then they have the ability to stop at Wallace Gas and Oil and fill up with fuel as they leave town. If for some reason they're not in this area, and we have some folks outside of Prowers County, then while they're out of town, or if they're not able to stop at Wallace, they turn in receipts and we reimburse those fuel costs for them. Now, the agency was started back in 2001, I think. Kathy Buxton was actually going through cancer treatment, and there was this big hole. Nobody pays for fuel. And so she was kind of the brains behind this whole process. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, which helps. And so, yeah, again, we have a pretty rigorous application process, and we try to keep up with folks, but just want to take a little bit of the angst of that whole process off of people's plates. I did look, and so far this year, we have spent over $6,000 on fuel for folks traveling. And currently we have between 25 and 30 active clients. That number always fluctuates, but anyway. And then in addition to the fuel, we offer a one-time emergency funding to kind of pick up the slack when folks first get that cancer diagnosis and they go, oh, that moment. And so we offer a $250 emergency funding. It's like, you give us information, you fill out our application, we will send you a check for $250 to kind of help start getting you over that initial hump. So, and we've spent $3,000 this year on that emergency funding. So what we're asking for, now that we've buried you with all that information, this year Fight Night is going to be on Saturday, August the 2nd. We are asking that we have the alley behind the Pocket Park blocked off. We're going to, we've contacted quite a few food trucks, and we're also asking for the parking lot right behind the Pocket Park to be blocked off so that we can set up our food trucks out there. The Pocket Park seems to be really big until you start putting people in it, and then it gets real small real quick. So we've had last year we had food trucks back in the back. We had some picnic tables set up out there so folks could sit around and chat. We have a whole Sorry, my brain quit.
Itinerary?
Take over. There you go. That's the word. We have a whole itinerary. Just to kind of go through, where we'll have ministers available. So if folks really have an immediate need to talk to somebody, we've got that person available for them. And we try to make it kind of a feel-good time, support each other, be there for each other, and kind of share the word about SECCI and what we do. And we also raise funds at the same time, just in case.
I'll add a little to it just as information. I'll obviously be abstaining from the vote since I'm the president of SECCI. I got everything over to Interim Chief Ritter regarding the alleyway in the parking lot. The insurance policy that will be submitted has not arrived yet, so we will get that copy over to Linda as soon as possible. And so, yeah, it was the alleyway, the parking lot being blocked off, the pocket park rental fee being waived, and the food truck vendor fees being waived for our event is what we're asking for.
So how much is the food truck vendor fees for the three?
What was that for more months?
$5. So that'd be, well, it's actually 5 vendors. Could you have 2 with, so it'll be 5, so 25.
Because if they, the way we set that up is if they would pull the permit, it's one fee.
Okay. Okay, and then how much is the fee for the rental of the parking lot and the park?
The pocket park, I think, is $100 now, isn't it, Anthony? And there's not a fee for the parking lot or alleyway, I don't believe.
Is there a fee for the parking lot or the alleyway?
No, just the pocket park.
Just the pocket park, about 100. So we're looking at roughly 125 or 105, something like that, as far as the contribution. Okay. And then just the support to get the event happening and, okay. Any other questions from the council?
I don't have any.
And what are the times? I've missed the time, sorry.
Oh, but wait, I just happen to have a flyer.
Oh,
for
There's a
several
few
of
flyers
them.
in front of you guys.
6 to 10.
Yeah, 6 to 10.
Free concert from 8 to 10.
But we're actually going to open up about 6. We have a social hour. We've got some giveaways and things that will be happening between 6:30 and 8. And that way people can wander around and chat with each other and whatever. And then the actual concert is from 8 to 10.
And we do not serve alcohol at this event.
Okay.
We've already enlisted the sheriff's posse to be security, just like we did last year, but there will be no alcohol at the event.
Still looking for sponsors?
We are absolutely looking for sponsors. Thank you for asking, Lance. If a board member has reached out to you, please try to get back with that board member with your completed sponsorship packet. Get the check mailed to P.O. Box 727, Lamar, Colorado 81052. Thank you to all the sponsors who we already have. You can reach out to me at seccipres@gmail to get a sponsorship packet.
I have 2 right now. Would you
so-
like one?
I believe I have one.
Lance does indeed have one. And so does Mr. Gonzalez down there. So yeah,
We have a check for you at the bank, so.
absolutely. So, and we appreciate it all. I know $105 doesn't seem like a lot to be asked to be waived, but we try to make sure every single dollar we get goes towards the patients that we service. I will add that when we revamped the board, we expanded from just Prowers County to Kiowa, Baca, Bent, and Prowers County. That has been, part of the reason why we've seen an increase in number of applicants. And so we are working really hard between our fundraiser committee and our sponsorship committee to make sure that our funds double moving forward. So, and shout out to Kathy. She's been wonderful as the secretary/treasurer. She got thrown into a dual role, voluntold, if you will. She's currently working on financials to start chasing grants next year to also help expand.
Okay.
So if anyone here knows anything about grant writing and wants to help,
Would help. Not that he's looking at you, the volunteer, he's got that down pat.
So-
Just
We
so
will
you-
see what we can find. You bet.
Kathy, one of those packets.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
about to get you one. I'm sorry. I've been so busy.
Okay, any questions from the council?
I don't have any.
Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to allow the waiver of the fees
Second.
And use of the,
in use of the pocket park and the parking lot.
And
And is that the alleyways way?
Alleyway as
And
well.
alleyways as well.
We have a motion and a second. Any final clarifications or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you all very much.
Abstaining.
If you want a banner to wear that your city council, let me know. I could probably come up with a banner for you.
Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is approval by council of the 2026 budget calendar.
Yes. So every year I bring this to you. I have made changes of the dates just to match the calendar. It follows all of our charter and state rules, and meets all those requirements. So I'm just asking for approval of the budget calendar so that we can move forward in our process. It's that time of year again. So I left 3 work sessions on there like we did last year, so we're flexible on those. But
Okay.
as far as if you want more or less, or you can let me know.
Okay. Are we good with this?
I'm fine.
Mhm.
I think that's worked well the last 2 years with that
I think
date
so.
with, for just a work session so he could spend time.
Yeah.
I think that gives us plenty of time to work through it on the schedule.
So I think if city administrators can help me not get things piled up on those nights, I would be grateful.
We'll
I
try.
think it's a time to focus.
We'll try. Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
So moved.
Or did we get a motion?
Who made the motion?
Brett did.
I'll motion to approve the 2026 budget
I'll
calendar
second.
as presented.
Okay, Jerry had the second. All right, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Moving right along, Main Street, Lamar, Corporate Cup Challenge sponsorship. It's initiated by Brenda May, and she is here today, our Main Street manager.
Thank
Brenda.
you, Mayor, Council. Thanks for allowing me to present tonight. It's time for the Main Street Lamar's Corporate Cup Challenge. This is our 5th annual challenge. And while we have, we use the funds, this is the largest fundraiser that we have, and we use these funds for matching grant opportunities to help with to vitalize the Main Street here in Lamar. So the team sponsorships are close to last year's number. I think we have 8 confirmed and 4 pending teams. And I'm not sure of the number last year, but it's very, very close. But we have not received a healthy amount of corporate sponsorships. We have 3 different levels, the silver, gold, and platinum. And we have 3 confirmed silver, but we're looking for the overall event sponsorship, the platinum. And last year, the city paid almost $1,200 for the 2 team sponsorships. It's $550 per team plus $35 for each member over 15. And so the total was about $1,200. And this year we have a team, Madison Park, with the fire department is putting together. I couldn't get a hold of her to see how many team members she might have, but she is working on it. And we would like to request that the city of Lamar be the overall sponsor for this year's Corporate Cup. And I was seeking approval for it. However, Kristen indicated that the budget already allows for that expenditure. So this was just information only, I guess, for you, and to take any questions you might have.
So the budget was for the 2,000, or was that enough in the budget then? Because I noticed
And I
we had
have
the
some-
1,100, so I
Yeah,
just wanted to make
a little
sure.
bit.
You do,
For contributions, yeah, for general contributions.
okay.
So we can cover both the sponsorship of the team and the platinum.
So the 2,550.
Yes.
So it would be for 2,550, and just so the council would know, it's already budgeted, so we should be fine. So we can table, or not table, we could just let this go with no action. But as far as information, the main thing that you wanted to share with us is that you need teams, right?
Well, we need teams, sponsorships. We'd also like community participation. This is a spectator sport. It's really quite fun. It starts on Wednesday, July 30th and goes through August 2nd. We have cornhole tournament, crazy kickball. I played it last year. It is crazy. It's a little intense. Volleyball, beach volleyball, kayaking, fishing, predicted 5K run, walk. And then we have our community togetherness projects that we do, just clean up in the area.
So it seems like in talking to some people around the community, the big concern was that they didn't have a full team to go with them. They wanted to go, but they didn't have 15 other people to go with them.
Yeah.
So what do you suggest on somebody in the community that wants to participate but doesn't have a team? What do you suggest?
They can combine teams. We don't have one that's combined this year, but I know last year there was one
I think
company
fire
that had.
department and police department had a
Yeah,
combined last year
EMS,
too.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think TBK Bank
Mhm.
combined with KBAY. So
Okay.
And then-
it doesn't have to have, any likeness. You just share the sponsorship and put who you want on the roster. And it can be family members or just
Yeah. Can I add?
relation. Yeah, please.
Okay. I've been involved with the Corporate Cup for 4 years now on previously LPI, now Main Street Lamar. We've promoted that if you have a business that's interested, you can combine with any other business. Like she said, it doesn't have to be like businesses. If you own a bakery and your buddy down at the insurance agency wants to combine a team, if you get to 15 people, you're good to go.
Can your business open it up to community members to participate with your business?
So in the past, and I believe it's still under the rules, it has to be an employee of the business or someone 18 years and older living in the household of that employee. So
Of that employee?
spouse, significant other, kid. I would say though, at this point, I think we'd be open to just getting more teams in. So as long as they're over 18, I think that would probably be okay.
Each team can also add 2 ringers
Yes.
to their team that do not have to be related.
Okay.
So you can call Joe Gonzalez, who's a fantastic kickball player, as your ringer. Jerry Jenkins is incredible at cornhole. And I just want to commend Brenda. This is her first year. She's had a lot to learn in a short amount of time in the new position. And this is arguably the biggest event that Main Street does. I'd say the biggest kind of holdup has been the sponsorship portion. And with all the organizations out there, as we know that I'm also in a few others, funds are tight, and getting that done has been a struggle this year. I think that will improve as she gets her feet wet moving forward. So
Hold off your commendations until August. We'll see if it's a successful event.
You're still as happy, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
But
thank you very
just
much.
let me add one more thing. Wednesday evening before the cornhole tournament, we have opening ceremony, and we have someone to sing the national anthem. We'll be introducing our teams, and certainly our corporate sponsorship will be very prevalent. And if you're available, Mayor, we'd like you to speak at the open ceremony. So
Okay. I probably won't be able to, but Mayor Timez or
I'll be out of town.
you'll be out of town. We'll figure something out.
that's fine. Yes.
We'll get
Thank
that
you.
worked out. Okay. Thank you very much.
thank you, Brenda.
Moving on, we have crosses at Fairmont Cemetery in the Veterans section. This was an item that was brought up a few weeks ago. As a matter of fact, it was brought up a while back, but now we're getting to making a decision on this.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council.
Good evening.
We had a staff meeting last week talking about the crosses at Fairmount Cemetery, and I was asked to visit with Lance about that process and to see if it was doable. And I was able to visit with Lance, and we think that it'd be okay because the city owns the land that the crosses would go on, so that it'd be okay if we added the crosses. Lance did mention that we should put a flyer of some sort that's laminated at the directory to offer families that maybe would not like a cross the option to have them removed.
Okay. So to have the option to remove them, and then I guess I was gonna ask, this is just in the veterans section, but if a family member wanted to ask to have one put on their family stone outside of the veterans section, can they do that as well?
I think that that would be okay.
If they're a veteran.
If they're a veteran and they,
Guys,
yes, please.
the veterans that are in other sections, Riverside and Claremont, have plaque on their stone. That they turned in, their family can put in a DD 214. Yeah. A mortuary, and they can get those plaques and get them installed, showing that they're a veteran, and that's our goal is once other families see that they can go and do the same thing, because a lot of people didn't know.
Okay. Okay,
So it might be good to add to that laminate, you know, if you want to remove contact Ron, but also if you're in family interested in adding it to contact Ron. Right?
all right,
Yes, that would be fine.
okay. Well, council, what would you like to do?
I make a motion to give permission to move forward with Ron on addressing crosses at Fairmount Cemetery in the veterans section.
Second.
Okay, and you have reviewed it all, Lance, and there's no issues.
Yeah, I don't see any issue with it. The one concern when it initially got brought up was I know when I dealt with the cemetery lots, those are personal
Right.
property. Well, it's property, real property owned by an individual. So that was my initial concern. But speaking with Linda about it, she did confirm that is actually owned by the city. So the veteran section. So it's really however council wants to proceed with.
The veteran section, okay. You had something else you said?
So we started the veteran section, and doing like we're talking about a stick, a bulletin, so that people see that if they want to move, we'll take them down. That's veterans only.
Yes, this is only for veterans, a section
What
only.
happens if people see it and say, our families that we have.
That's what I was just asking, and you said Dick can go and file for a,
You know, there's a lot of them already there.
okay,
A lot of
Well, if
Okay.
they're not-
But I think he was going to put on the thing that if they want
Yeah.
one in that
Right,
other
so they
if they
section,
want
to
one,
just
they can
contact.
contact you.
And then that's giving them permission.
There's already a lot of veterans on there, out there that have those flags.
So to be clear, inside the veteran section, that's owned by the city. So as owners of it, as a city, we can allow that to happen. But outside of that, you have to have permission by the property owners or by the family. So if they contact you and ask you, then you can put one on, but if not, then you'd have to just not do any of those until you get the access. So we'll put that on the sheet that if they want one outside of there, they can contact you, or if they want one removed from within the city area, they can contact you for that as well. Does that sound good? Okay. Sound all right with you, Anthony?
Yes, sir.
Council?
Sounds good.
I'm fine with that.
And we had a motion and a second already, so that would be inside the motion and second, correct? Okay. Good? All right, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Brent?
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item on the agenda is USDA Cooperative Service Agreement. This is also initiated by Anthony Latour, asking for permission to enter into an agreement. Anthony?
Yes, this is the same agency that helped us out with the beaver problem we were having over at Willow Creek. And meeting with Pat and Logan from CPW, we walked the land and noticed that there's a lot of prairie dogs where we're going to be putting the archery range. And we felt like it was a big safety concern to not deal with them before the archery range was constructed, so that people weren't shooting at live prairie dogs. So we would like to enter an agreement with USDA, with Joey Gasnick, and get that taken care of beforehand.
Anthony, according to the map here, I just have one question. I thought we changed it from this location to the other location.
The opposite side.
Yes.
This is on the north side of the ponds.
And I thought we.
For the draw.
Yeah, it's on the south side of the ponds. It would be close to the restroom area.
So this map is incorrect.
Correct.
But the idea is the same, that it would still be the same target locations as far as
Just
the
shifted south.
layout, just on the other side of the park, the south side of the.
Correct. There will still be 10 targets. Where the yellow square is where there would be 5 targets where they could sight in, and then they would move from west to east on that.
Can you email the updated version of that?
Yes, I
tomorrow
can.
To the council?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Did you look at this, Lance?
I don't see any issues with it.
This agreement doesn't specifically pertain to the incorrect map, right? It will still work with the correct location for the range.
Doesn't
Correct.
seem to indicate the location.
Yeah, I'm not
specifically,
sure
so-
why the map was even added up. I wouldn't get it.
But the work plan, according to what we got here, will be for the right piece of property, correct?
Correct. We walked
Okay.
where the land
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really specify where, it's just based on what he's needing.
Okay.
And we can get the coordinates added in there from the GPS location
Oh,
if
it
that
does have
helps.
location GPS there. Okay,
If everything looks good, I make a motion to give permission to enter into the agreement with the update to the GPS coordinates to the correct coordinates for the current plan.
I'll second that.
we have a motion and a second with the approval of the agreement with the verification of the GPS coordinates, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. All those in favor signify with an eye.
All right.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Agenda item number 9 is About Face, the Families and Communities Engaged Grant. This is initiated by Tess Camp and Kristen Schwartz. Also working on this project is Anthony Latour, who's speaking on that.
I didn't initiate this. so-
Okay, so Anthony,
Yeah, I could go ahead and speak on it.
you're aware of this, right?
We already asked for permission. We just we got the grant. So he's just here to tell you we got the grant.
Oh, okay. But we already got approved for it, right?
Yeah, you
For
guys
use-
gave us permission
To
to,
use it?
yes,
Okay,
At the
that
last
was,
meeting, I
yeah,
think,
the
right?
last meeting,
Yes.
so, yes.
okay. So this is just a duplicate of what we're doing with?
It is a duplicate, but there is a small change.
Okay.
Initially, we had asked for the exact same services that were in the Rawlings grant, but we added some scholarships to be able to be offered to families who had multiple children who couldn't afford the registration fees for several children. So Tendon's already worked up an application process for this coming fall. So that is also what the funds would be used for.
And what Tendon was told is that he needs to run that by the city attorney for my request on his application to make sure we're not discriminating
Yes.
against anybody, please.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we need to submit that application to the attorney and make sure it meets all compliance requirements. Okay,
So is there any,
there's really no decision to be made.
It's just,
It's just more of an information, is that right?
Correct.
And when does this start? We've already received the grant. It was approved on June 18th.
Correct.
You're
The
already
funding
working
will
on it?
start July 1, and then the fall registration would be in August for the fall sports.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item number 10. This is where Linda gets to read. We have an ordinance adding a new Article 3, Section 16 through 55 to 16 through 57 to Chapter 16, prohibiting perpetual, prolonged, and extended yard sales in both residential and commercially zoned areas in the city of Lamar. Initiated by Interim Police Chief Ritter and city clerk and the city attorney, excuse me. Hello, Chief Ritter.
Good afternoon, council. I believe that we had proposed this before. It is just up. It's been reviewed already by legal counsel with some minor adjustments and changes and some clarifications to some things. So I believe at that point with city or the council's approval, we would like to submit this on a first reading.
Okay. So to do that, we'd have to do the first reading. So who'd like to read it?
I'll do
You
it.
want me to like to speed read through it, or if you
I
guys
can
want
do it.
Okay. All right.
An ordinance adding a new Article 3, Section 16-55 to Section 16-57 to Chapter 16, prohibiting perpetual, prolonged, and extended yard sales in both residential and commercially zoned areas of the city of Lamar, Colorado. Whereas Colorado Revised Statutes 31-15-401 grants general police powers to the city council to promulgate ordinances for the health, safety, and welfare of the public. And whereas City Council of the City of Lamar has determined that persons, organizations, and/or businesses have conducted yard, garage, rummage sales, and/or flea markets in either residential or commercially zoned areas of the City of Lamar and have left the areas cluttered with property for prolonged periods of time, impeded traffic, and parking areas of surrounding residential homes or commercial businesses. And whereas City Council has further determined that said perpetual, prolonged, and extended yard/garbage, rummage sales, and/or flea markets should be regulated for the preservation of the public safety and welfare and compliance of both residential and commercial areas. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lamar, Colorado, Part 1, the Lamar Municipal Code, Chapter 16 is hereby amended by the addition of a new Article 3, Yard Sales, Section 16-55 to 16-57, which reads as follows. Article 3, Yard Sales, Section 16-55, Purpose. This regulation is designed to control and restrict the number and time of any yard, garage, rummage sale, and/or flea markets in order to protect the public health, safety, and convenience, and to restrict such sales to casual and occasional occurrences only, in keeping with the character of the neighborhood where the activity is carried on in compliance with the city's zoning regulations. The intent of this section is to eliminate perpetual, prolonged, and extended yard, garage, rummage sales, and/or flea markets in residential and commercially zoned areas. Such sales, when continued indefinitely, become an unlicensed business when done in commercial areas and residential areas, and creates a nuisance, causes traffic congestion, disturbs the peace of others, and can violate zoning regulations. Any person selling items for resale is required to hold a City of Lamar business and sales tax license, as well as collect and remit sales tax to the City of Lamar. This regulation is intended to treat any and all individuals and businesses with the same fairness and requirements. Section 16-56 definitions. As used in this section, the following terms shall have the meanings indicated. A, yard sale includes all general sales open to the public conducted from or on a residential or commercial premise or on any residential or commercially zoned property as defined by Chapter 16 of this code for the purpose of disposing of new, used, or secondhand items of personal property, including but not limited to all sales entitled garage, lawn, yard, attic, porch, room, backyard, patio, flea market, moving, estate, or rummage. B, personal property means property which is owned, utilized, and maintained by an individual or members of his/her residence and acquire in the normal course of living in or maintaining a residence. It does not include merchandise which was purchased for resale or obtained on consignment. C, resale merchandise means merchandise which was purchased for resale or obtained from other yard sale type locations, consignment, or auction intended to resell. Section 16-57, restrictions of yard sales. A, it is unlawful for any person, firm, organization, or corporation to sell or offer for sale under authority granted by this section property other than tangible personal property. B, it is unlawful for any person, firm, organization, or corporation to allow a yard sale on commercial property or sell items for resale on commercial property without having or acting under a City of Lamar business and sales tax license for the collection and remit of sales tax to the City of Lamar. C, yard sales shall be limited in time to daylight hours and for 3 consecutive weekdays or 2 consecutive weekends, including Saturday and Sunday, and limited to no more than 4 times per calendar year at the same place. D, goods may not be stored outside during non-daylight hours. E, members of more than one residence may join in conducting a yard sale at the residence of one of them. F, any person not in possession of commercially zoned property must obtain written permission from property owner and provide a copy to the city clerk's office to be included with their business/sales tax application. G, the owner, occupant, or tenant of the premises on which such sale activity is conducted shall be jointly and severally responsible for all conduct on property and shall not allow a hindrance to traffic, disturbance to the peace of others, or access to another's property, or violation of any other Lamar Municipal Code. H, all persons must follow both City of Lamar Municipal Code Section 14-28 and 16-31, posting of handbills, posters, and placards. I, any person convicted of violating the prohibitions of this section shall be punished in accordance with the provisions of sections 120-21 of this code. Each day an offense continues shall constitute a separate offense.
Any questions from the council?
I have none.
Do we have a motion to approve on the first reading?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this ordinance on the first reading. All those in favor?
You have one question.
Do we have a question?
So it's just on commercial property that a sales tax and business license is required?
Is that right?
Well, so whereas in the residential areas, we're only allowing 4 times per year.
Per location.
Yeah, there are some city ordinances that require a license fee each and every time. I didn't think that was necessarily appropriate, so we just amended that to construe commercial property only. Because then it
If you're
becomes
selling out
more
of
of
a
a
storage
business.
unit, you need to have a.
Right.
Yes, because it's a commercial
Like if
property.
you're out of your front yard, you can only do it 4 sales a year, but you don't have to have a
Sales
business
tax
license or
license.
sales
No.
tax license.
And I
I
did,
just
as a
wanted to-
point of clarification, I added one more, again, which more closely mirrors a lot of other ordinances in the state.
Mhm.
So that, in addition, helps to kind of clarify that.
I just wanted to clarify that because I think that would be the one that people would have.
Yeah, just the commercial city
Questions
sales tax
about.
license on any commercial property, in addition to the ownership of the property. It has to be submitted that they give you permission with the application for the business license.
Yeah, and I want to point out that part of this is because similar to food trucks, food trucks are out there to provide a service and goods and services for individuals that don't want to sit into a restaurant. But they're also competing against those individuals who own restaurants that are doing brick and mortar businesses and making those big investments. We've noticed that there's a lot of businesses or individuals who are selling out of storage units as a retail business or bringing items in from out of state and selling them as they're passing through town like a business, but they're not paying sales tax and they're competing against our local businesses who have made that investment for a brick and mortar business. So I think that's, it's something that we need to address. It's not any different than if we had groups of people coming into town to do oil, changes on Main Street. We'd probably want to address that as well because they're competing with our local businesses.
You make a
So
good point that I want to get some clarification on. I know I see those groups that post up with their bus and all the different flags and signs. Will that then fall under this?
yes.
Actually, it doesn't,
Oh, it doesn't. That's
Yeah.
right.
because
Peddlers.
those are classified peddlers.
Peddlers.
If they're not within our 4-county region, then they're required to have a peddler's license.
Okay.
So, and,
That's
not
right.
saying that I catch them all the time, but if somebody sees somebody set up, they need to verify whether they actually have permission to be here. So they can do that through the police department because we work together on issuing that peddler's license.
I think
Yep.
Steph had something to say.
Can I ask clarification as well? Because I've heard commercial a few times, but does that also include industrial zone? Because there are 2, as far as I'm aware, I believe there are 2 storage unit facilities that fall in industrial, not commercial.
Not aware of those.
Do we need to table this for more clarification?
I mean, I think we could make an amendment if the intent is to prevent those kind of activities. We could simply clarify any other zone that isn't residential in residential zoned property.
And encompass everything.
Versus calling it just commercial, it can just be property that's any other zone other than residential.
So we can pass this on the first reading and make the amendments on the second reading like
Yeah, I
we've
mean,
done in the past, right?
We can make that amendment tonight if we want to.
Okay.
But we can still make amendments on the second reading if it's not in
And
conformity.
as far as I'm seeing, it's just section 16-57 subsection B, I think is the only one we'd have to clarify on, right? It is
Yes.
unlawful for any person, firm, or organization, and that could just be amended to say for resale on any other zoned property outside of residential, other than residential.
I think that sounds better.
Well, I think we could just say, we can approve it with the clarification that anything other than residential is classified as such, because there is F where it says
Well, there's a
any
few,
person not in possession of commercially zoned property. That needs to say,
yeah, there's a few places where commercially zoned has been mentioned. So I think we just clarify if the board is good with that change, we just clarify to make that change throughout to reflect any other property.
So an amendment.
I can make that change and then we can make sure that when we bring it back for the second reading that it has that correction in there.
okay, so we would need to amend the motions that we had in the second to state that you approve it on the first reading pending changes as recommended by the city attorney.
That's fine.
And then we'll do it on the second reading with the changes by the city attorney. Does that work?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Does that work, Linda?
Good catch.
Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. So we do have that motion and second with those corrections. Any other discussion?
I don't have any.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. All right, agenda item number 11. This is the one that we added in to the agenda, which is the approval for mayor to sign the proposal for the new public safety building. This is initiated by Stephanie Struby.
Good evening. Thank you guys for getting this on at the last minute. We do appreciate it. So a little background. I tried to make this as clear as possible, but I think it's still a little, if you got questions, please let me know. So the city of Lamar is a member of Sourcewell, and Sourcewell is an agency that does the vetting process of RFPs for government agencies that save us time and money. And so doing, by using a Sourcewell company, the city can move forward on updating the property at 902 North Main Street for a public safety building without the delayed process of going to bid. Facilities contracting is a Sourcewell company that is based out of Littleton, Colorado, and Reliant Construction, that is actually local here in La Junta, works under facilities contracting in the southeastern Colorado region. The board for the public safety building has met with Craig Sommers of Reliant Construction, Shannon Albers, the architect, and Ben Plazik, the facilities contracting regarding the project at hand. Facilities contracting has sent in a proposal letter for the first steps of the project, which include the architectural design and engineering design. These are two important elements that we need in order to understand how much it's going to cost for this project as a whole and to continue moving forward. So it is just the first steps. That proposal is attached. The Public Safety Building Board has met regarding the proposal and is recommending to council to move forward with the proposal by having the mayor sign or any other action as council may direct.
So as she said, this is primarily this is for the architectural design fees and the engineering design fees of the public safety building. We have kind of a wish list from the fire department, the police department, and everybody involved in the building. But now we need to get the formation of the design and what the construction estimates are going to cost, so that we can go out and start looking for grants. But to do that, we have to complete this portion of the project. And that's what we're moving forward with, right, Kristen?
Right, and Lance had a question. It will probably cross years, so we'll need to
Add an addendum
add an
with the
addendum,
Tabor amendment.
Tabor
So
amendment.
any motion, if we can just add approval of a amendment, addendum with the Tabor amendment to that.
Okay, so if they approve this, they need to approve it with the addition of a Tabor amendment.
And then he'll get you that when you send it to them, because they'll need to make sure they're okay with it, which they should be.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Then you did review it for anything else?
Yeah, I didn't see any other issues with it.
Okay. So it is a significant investment, but this was part of the project that we knew we would have. This one is the $212,114. And the majority of that is for the architectural and engineering design fees. So council, what would you like to do?
I make a motion to move ahead.
Is that with the Tabor amendment?
With the amendment.
Tabor amendment?
Tabor amendment.
Yes, that's what the motion with the Tabor amendment.
Okay,
A second.
so we have a motion and a second to approve and allow the mayor to sign with the addition of the Tabor amendment. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the second's correct? Okay. Verifying those motions. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Next item is miscellaneous items. Do we have any miscellaneous items? I was supposed to go over to KVAY tomorrow, and Matt did his treatment today and will not be able to do the show in the morning, so I have to do the show in the morning
Okay.
at Lamar. You did sound very good and professional in the last one, so
You're ready
thank
for
you
me
for
to
that.
break your heart, though? I'm
What's
leaving at 6 a.m.
Oh, you're leaving at 6 a.m. Okay,
That was quite a buildup.
yeah, that was. So is there anyone else that would like to be on the air for a little bit and talk about what we discussed tonight? Anyone?
It's not hard.
It's really not.
I can.
Okay.
What time is it?
Yeah, 7:15
7:15?
or 7:15.
I can make that work.
Okay. Shouldn't take very long. Shayla's done it and Brent's done it and I've done
Okay.
it, so.
He's doing
Where,
KVAY.
what's the location? Where?
He's doing KVAY.
KVAY?
Oh, I didn't call KVAY. I need to call, so it'd be, I had Lamar I was gonna ask about, so if you could do Lamar.
So it's Lamar instead.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
And I'll just
Lamar.
get with him and see what we can do at 8.
And then I'll do the next one at KVAY after you talk with him.
Okay, all
Or
right.
no, I'll do Lamar because you're gonna do KVAY.
Okay, we'll get that worked out tomorrow. I'll call him. Okay, sounds good. Looks like we got a plan. All right, any other items for miscellaneous?
Did everyone get their packets for the CML?
Yes.
As Brent mentioned, he'll be leaving to CML tomorrow, but all of the council members, right? Everybody's going?
Yes.
To the Colorado Municipal League's annual conference in Breckenridge. It's an opportunity for extra training and networking that the council will have with multiple councils throughout the state. And it should be a very informative opportunity for everybody. So I'm glad we will have the full representation there.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because I'm having issues with my email again, deleting emails off my tablet and phone. What time and location is the Ayers dinner?
I'll have to forward that to you, I
Okay.
guess, because I don't know offhand.
Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back to meet with.
Did she not put it in your packet?
Huh?
Did she not put it in your packet?
I didn't see anything.
No, and
with
she
the
had told
Ayers.
me she did what last year. She felt like she did too much, and this year I said it's always better to
Not
have
too
more
much.
information than.
I asked her to, get all that in
So-
there for you.
I don't think she thought about the JVA one, just the CML, so we'll just need to check that, but, okay. I'll see if I can email that over to you.
Okay, thank you.
And I think you can also download the app. Did you
I
do
already
that
did.
last year? Okay.
I already downloaded the app. I'm just gonna have to go in next week and talk with Thomas. It's
But the app won't show the JVA because that's
No.
separate.
Yeah, it's a side thing.
Yeah, so, all right. With that said, we have an executive session next for the purposes of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators under Colorado Revised Statutes 24-6, 402, subsection 4, subsection E regarding the city administrator's search. Do we have a motion to go into the executive session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
There will be no decisions coming out of the executive session. Our next meeting will be on Monday, July 14th at 7 PM, and we hope to see you then. Thank